Some people don't experience life, they review it. One time at university, the weather was absolutely disgusting. Rain sideways, wind bullying your spine. Classes were not canceled. And my classmates? Instant meltdown. Why would they make us come? This is unacceptable. They don't care about us. Okay, next time. Classes get canceled because of weather. And the same people go, why do we even pay them? The professors are doing nothing. Bro, if the building caught on fire, you'd complain the alarms were too loud. That's not venting. That's a personality subscription. Today, we're exposing the psychology of chronic complaining, why it infects your brain and how to delete it before it deletes your potential. Here's the paradox. For chronic complainers, every outcome is an excuse to be mad. Bad weather in class continues? Unfair. Class gets canceled? Lazy professors. And it wasn't just weather. Another classic, the course selection tragedy. They pick the easy subjects. I'm not learning anything valuable. They pick the hard subjects, the ones that actually teach them new skills. This is too hard. This is unreasonable. So what do we learn? The problem isn't the class. The problem isn't the weather. The problem is the filter they run reality through. Some people don't want better circumstances. They want better reasons to complain. Complaining becomes their way to feel smart, moral, and superior without doing anything difficult. Because action is scary. Complaining is comfy. Let's talk psychology. Chronic complaining usually comes from three things. 1. Attention and social bonding. Complaining is social currency. It's how some people connect, like, ugh, this sucks, and everyone nods like a cult. But here's the catch. Bonding over negativity is like bonding over food poisoning. Yes, you're together, but you're also suffering. 2. Identity addiction. For some people, victim becomes an identity, and once an identity forms, it defends itself. If they solve the problem, they'd lose their favorite role, the person life always happens to. So they don't want solutions. They want witnesses. 3. Learned helplessness. This is a real concept. When people repeatedly feel like effort doesn't change outcomes, they stop trying. And instead of acting, they narrate. They turn life into a podcast called Everything is Rigged and I'm the Main Character. And look, everyone vents sometimes. That's human. The issue is when venting becomes your default operating system. Because then your brain starts believing, I don't solve, I suffer. Now the neuroscience punch. You've heard me talk about the RAS before, the reticular activating system. It's basically your brain's filter that decides what you notice. Because you can't consciously process everything, so your brain goes, what's important? What should highlight? Here's the problem. If you complain all the time, you train your RAS to hunt for negativity. Your brain starts scanning for what's wrong, what's unfair, who's incompetent, why this won't work. So you feel validated because you find proof everywhere. But it's not proof. It's programming. Complaining is like telling your brain, hey, this is what matters. Show me more of it. And your brain says, say less. I got you. So life starts feeling heavier, even if nothing objectively got worse. Because your mind is running. Find evidence that life sucks in the background. Quick check-in. If you've ever caught yourself doing this, type filter in the comments. No shame. Awareness is step 1. Also, if you know someone who complains as a hobby, send this to them. Or don't. They'll complain either way. This is where Earl Nightingale enters like a calm assassin. Nightingale called attitude the magic word because it determines the meaning you assign to events. 2 people walk into the same storm. One says, okay, this is inconvenient. What's the move? The other says, of course this happens to me. This is why life is trash. Nobody respects me. Same storm, different reality. Because attitude isn't just how you feel. It's how you interpret. And interpretation becomes behavior. Behavior becomes results. Results become your life. Chronic complaining is basically attitude sabotage. It teaches you to treat every obstacle like an insult and every inconvenience like oppression. And that's how you end up emotionally exhausted, constantly bitter, and confused why nothing improves. Because you can't build a great life with a brain trained to hate everything. Now let's fix it. Here's the anti-complainer protocol. Simple enough to follow, savage enough to work. Step 1, the 60-second vent rule. You can vent, but you don't get to write a trilogy. Set a mental timer, 60 seconds. After that, you choose a path. Because endless venting isn't processing, it's rehearsing. Step 2, choose one. Solve, accept, or act. After the vent, ask. Solve. What's the next practical step? Accept. Is this outside my control? Then I stop feeding it. Act. What action moves me forward even 1%? This turns emotions into motion, and motion is how you escape mental quicksand. Step 3, replace the complaint. Language your words are instructions to your brain. Swap, this sucks, to what's the next move. Why is this happening to me? To what is this teaching me? They're incompetent, to what can I control right now? You're not gaslighting yourself. You're reclaiming steering control. And if you're dealing with chronic complainers in your life, here's the boundary line that saves you hours. Say, do you want to vent or do you want to solve? If they say vent, cool. Give them a minute. If they say solve, help them brainstorm. But if they reject every solution and circle back to misery like it's their home address, you don't argue. You don't lecture. You exit. Because some people don't want help. They want company in their downfall. Here's the truth. Complaining feels like intelligence, but it's usually just avoidance wearing a suit. It feels like honesty, but it's often just fear of effort. And the longer you keep complaining, the more your brain believes, this is who I am. But you can change the filter. You can train your RAS to notice opportunity instead of insult. You can choose an attitude that turns friction into fuel. And if you want, in a future video, we'll go deeper into Earl Nightingale's magic word. Because once you understand attitude, you stop living like life is happening to you, and you start living like you're building something. Until next time, keep mastering your life, one key at a time.